Many don't know that the man named Mendoza was once a masked wrestler himself. I was the pride and joy of my hometown of Canal Espacio. I faced off and unmasked 10,000 warriors in single combat in the ring. With every battle, my powers grew, and I could soon eliminate opponents by simply staring them dead in the eye, picturing their worst memory, and projecting it into their subconscious like a psychic flashbang that would reduce grown men to weeping masses of failure. I wore the belt with pride after decimating hundreds. But one day I hung it all up because I knew no one masked wrestler should have the power to show others the void within their own minds. The void of white emptiness where the purest form of evil lurks. Man himself. I have seen what lies within the gutter space. The only pop culture news show where the host is foaming at the mouth, eager to tear into your jugular at a moment's notice. Venom 3 is being made. That's good news. I like Venom. Venom's fun. I hope the xenophage is in it. Turn into inanimate objects. I like that guy. I hope he's the bad guy. If you were morbidly curious about Morbius and discovered it was just more BS, then you'll know why it was a critical and financial failure. But the film industry's takeaway lesson from that is not that casting Jared Leto as a lame shit C-list Spider-Man villain in a movie without Spider-Man isn't a formula for success, but that vampires aren't cool anymore, I guess? So a bunch of upcoming movies about Dracula and Nosferatu have been cancelled. And has Sony learned their lesson? Why yes, instead of C-list supervillains, they're going for Z. Stick around for the rest of the video, but first a word from our sponsor. Special thanks to HelloFresh for sponsoring this video. Get mouth-watering seasonal recipes and fresh, pre-measured ingredients delivered right to your door with HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. HelloFresh makes cooking at home fun, easy, and affordable. No matter what's going on in the world, everyone's gotta eat. That's why HelloFresh is here to make eating better and easier. No grocery stores, no stressful meal planning, just everything you need to prepare wholesome, delicious meals all delivered to your door. With 50 weekly options, including a rotating selection of items at HelloFresh Market, there are plenty of delicious dishes to choose from no matter the occasion. HelloFresh has options for everyone, including family-friendly, fit and wholesome, and quick and easy meals. So there's something to please even the pickiest eater at your table, even if that's you. And HelloFresh recipes feature produce sourced directly from U.S. farmers and picked at peak ripeness. It goes from the farm to your front door in under a week, which means their spring menu features the season's freshest flavors. My mom got a subscription to HelloFresh a few years ago, and I ended up eating all of the meals with her. And a lot of the recipes were so nice we began cooking them ourselves really frequently. So HelloFresh introduced me to some of my new favorite meals, and they're really affordable and a lot healthier than frequent trips to grab fast food. Use my link or go to HelloFresh.com and use the code POGZillaMay16 for up to 16 free meals, plus 3 surprise gifts across 6 HelloFresh boxes, plus free shipping. Once you click, my description will live update to count the purchases. Now back to the video. Next up on Sony's run of out-of-the-park ideas, El Muerto the movie! Played by rapper Bad Bunny, who has basically no real acting credits to his name, so you know he's gonna be a great leading man. El Muerto is a one-off antagonist from the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man side series from 2006 by Peter David. El Muerto exists in exactly 2 issues, where he's a luchador that must protect his life from another luchador with magic powers named El Dorado by unmasking another champion in combat. So he challenges Spider-Man to battle for charity with Jonah Jameson's help because he's always being a little rascal. Muerto's powers include, I don't know, nothing. It's not really defined. He's kind of just a normal guy. I think it's said that he's stronger than average. In fact, in this issue, Flash Thompson describes him as, quote, some Mexican wrestler no one's ever heard of. Yeah, let's give that guy a movie. Spider-Man beats up El Dorado for him, so he's off the hook and he's never seen or heard from again. This is apparently enough material for a multi-million-dollar theatrically released movie. This is so bottom of the barrel, it's actually worse than any joke suggestion we've made over the years after Sony got a bug up their ass about obscure nobodies like Jackpot and shameless Spawn ripoff Nightwatch. Like, at least those fucking characters showed up more than 2 issues. Jackpot had a 3-issue miniseries and a bunch of appearances in Spider-Man. Nightwatch had 12 solo issues and a couple appearances here and there. That's like really minimal, but it's something. If this is the caliber of characters we're pulling from, then we need to up the ante with these jokes. Hey Sony, how about a movie about Fusion, the Twin Terror? It's about a couple of brothers with dwarfism that form into one average-sized glowing mutant man with 2 heads. You can have Peter Dinklage play both roles. He's a big name, right? I bet he's got more star power than Bad Bunny. Oh shit, what about a movie about Freak? Or Freak with a PH? Then you can have a crossover movie called Freak vs. Freak. Fuck it, I might be giving them ideas. What a massive joke. I would like to believe that this is just a comedic publicity stunt and not a real decision that's this unfathomably inept. Like when they kept doing that joke thing in 2012 where High Moon Studios announced they were making a game based on the Hit Monkey comic, and then Deadpool showed up at the panel and hijacked it to force them at gunpoint to make a Deadpool game instead. I may not have liked the game itself that much, but that was clever marketing. If that's the ploy, then this is a sort of funny way to get eyes on a mystery project, but if this is unironic, then like dozens of high-level people need to be fired. You want some legitimate ideas? Like, I'm not joking here. Spider-Man 2099 is like really easy. Mayday Parker Spider-Girl and her parents are Toby and Kirsten, that way you can bring them back. Superior Foes of Spider-Man is like a funny buddy comedy heist movie would be cool. So much that you could do that's not El Muerto! Meanwhile, in another universe where movies are competently made, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse has been delayed by several months. But they did show some footage of Miles, Gwen, Miguel, and a pregnant Jessica Drew fighting what might be a noir version of Vulture, who's a scary cannibal who eats people. It sucks that we have to wait yet another year for it to finally drop, but it's a big project and is apparently the biggest crew of an animated movie ever, with over 1,000 animators. All of whom I'm sure will be properly credited and fairly compensated for their work, right? I'm sorry if I sound sarcastic and bitter, I'm still hung up on El Muerto. Like, Kraven I get. He has a lot of lore and storylines and a bunch of adjacent characters. Madam Web is its own thing that could introduce all the magic elements of Spider-Man mythos, so that's like justifiable on some level. Even Morbius, I guess, because people at least recognize him to some extent from the cartoons and games. But fucking El Muerto? What? Marvel released a trailer for Thor Love and Thunder, which will be adapting the Jason Aaron run of Thor where Jane Foster gets the canker Thor. Many of you may be asking, isn't it kind of weird to call her Thor now because that's not like a title or persona, it's the guy's name? And yes, you're right. But also, there's a bunch of fucking guys called Thor, and they aren't this guy either, and it's a dumb comic book movie for 14-year-olds. I don't care anymore. It's not an adaptation of actual Norse mythology. And I'm pretty sure the Nords never had any stories in their religion about Loki serving a purple space alien to invade the city of New York, so getting pissy about it now is just arbitrary. They did, however, have stories of him turning into a female horse and giving birth to an 8-legged horse monster named Slippy. Whatever, you can be Thor if you want, no one's stopping you, this is all stupid. With biceps like that, I wouldn't even want to try.
From any guy in Hollywood, who would it be?
The trailer has a lot of nice color, cool art design, interesting set pieces, and some really shockingly accurate comic imagery. Like, so accurate it looks like they traced the panel to make this shot identical to Esad Ribic's art in the comic. And I'm sure he will be properly credited and compensated for his work. You know, since he basically storyboarded this shot for you. Maybe they'll even spell his name right, because somehow movies sometimes struggle with that. I like that Thor has his classic costume in one shot in a context other than to actively mock this look. Marvel's been doing better about that lately, I'll give them props. It used to be this recurring gag of pointing at a comic-accurate costume and going, "Ha ha, this is stupid." But now they're doing it a little more respectfully, and I honestly appreciate that. Taika Waititi is one of the better directors doing Marvel stuff lately, and has a really solid body of work and decent comedy chops. If his funnier take on Thor isn't for you, that's totally understandable, but I'm willing to give it a chance. I didn't really love Thor Ragnarok myself, but I enjoyed some of the character development here and there, and, you know, it had some standout moments. I imagine this will be kind of the same deal, so I don't know if I'm going to like it, but we'll see. The Doctor Strange trailer came out ages ago, so I feel like it would be weird to go over now, but here are a few thoughts about it based on the marketing before it comes out this week. I hope Mr. Fantastic is in there, because that would be funny. But I'm also worried from the rumors that they'll go a little overboard and cram in too many references and side characters, to the point that it'll get overstuffed. I got faith in good old Sam, though. He directed Evil Dead, And that movie's pretty cool. In other news, there's a new Kingdom Hearts game, and people are a little weirded out by the photorealistic art style after all the previous games had this spiky anime man in his clown shoes. Maybe this one will have Marvel and Star Wars stuff now, since projects like this are a perfect place for companies to just go, look at all the rights I bought! Like Ready Player One or Space Jam 2. We could get Scrooge McDuck and Deadpool teaming up to defeat Darth Vader. Oh, Disney! The Cassian Andor show was originally slated to last 5 seasons, I guess, but then they decided to chill out and do maybe 3 instead. And, I honestly have no idea how anyone could look at that character and go, yeah, that guy's worth watching for around 2,015 minutes of content. But, yeah, good for Diego Luna for getting that paycheck either way. On the DC front, Discovery and Warner Brothers have merged, and the first order of business is to revamp their current plans for movies. This includes finding a Kevin Feige-like producer to wrangle these together instead of them all being, like, kind of director-driven, but also kind of not, because the studio kept meddling. They also want to revitalize characters like Superman and keep doing projects like Batman and Joker. This confuses me because getting a Kevin Feige guy means making a shared universe more coherent, right? But Batman and Joker are, like, successful and interesting because they're not part of a shared universe. So, I think some further clarification on that could be helpful. I want to be optimistic. I'm excited for Batman 2. That would be cool. A new Superman movie could be really cool. He's not a hard character to get right. Everyone's really overthinking it. He's just a really chill dude, and it's ironic that he's so gentle and kind considering he's so insanely powerful. If you can wrap your head around One Punch Man or Goku from Dragon Ball, this is not a difficult concept. He's the kind of guy that would help you move if you asked him to because he's got a dope pickup truck. Sometimes he gets a little overwhelmed when everyone asks him to help them move on the same weekend, you know? The Rock is producing a movie based on the game It Takes Two on Amazon Prime, which is really far from my guess that he was involved with Mortal Kombat. Is this the biggest, most badass game he was referring to? That would actually be hilarious. There's a new Ghostbusters movie that's a sequel to the new Ghostbusters movie, but it's unrelated to the new Ghostbusters movie that everyone hated. That's all the news I find interesting enough to talk about. It's a dry spell, but I don't want people to forget this series exists, so I just felt like kind of taking a minute to talk with you all again. My last video was crazy, and I'd have never gotten that opportunity for something like that, or really any of the amazing collabs we've done on the channel over the last year and a half, without your continued support. So, thank you guys for making my dreams come true, helping us with all of our ambitious, wacky ideas through the Patreon, or keeping the views up on our bigger projects, or just being active in the community in general. Thanks, guys. I love you lots. Be on the lookout for all the other crazy collabs we'll be doing this year because we're still going. Post in the comments your favorite Spider-Man villain that only appeared in one issue that you'd love to see get a whole movie trilogy because that's where we're headed. Until next time, buckaroos.